Hello and welcome to the Zero Waste program, part of the Smithville, Texas Eco Photo Festival webinar series. I'm Jill Struby. I'm the chair of the Smithville Area Chamber of Commerce and one of the founders of EcoFest. Both the Texas Photo Festival and the EcoFest, formerly known as the Green Expo, have been a tradition in Smithville for about 10 years. This is the first time we're experimenting with this connection between eco and photo, and also with the virtual format. Our gratitude goes to you, the viewer, and your interest in these topics. If you're interested in photographing the items you fix, maybe to sell them on the internet or whatever you may have, whatever you'd like to do, please tune into the program with Linda Bauer and check out other presentations on a wide variety of topics connecting eco with photo. Today's presenter is Madelyn Morgan. We're so happy to have her today. Maddie is a conservation program coordinator for Austin Resource Recovery's Circular Economy Program. I'm wearing the wrong glasses, so it's a little fuzzy. She is developing programs and initiatives that support local businesses and nonprofits who are closing the loop in Austin. She oversees special events, diversion programs, microplastics research, and consults with businesses about how they can achieve a zero waste goal. She is also the chair of the State of Texas Alliance for Recycling's Reuse Council and the Departmental Green Team. Maddie is a Waste 360 40 under 40 recipient and an alumni of the University of Texas at Austin and Texas State University. She teaches zero waste classes and works with communities on reuse programs. Austin Resource Recovery provides residential curbside collection of trash, recycling, composting, yard trimmings. They also operate at the drop-off center for household hazardous waste and the recycle and reuse center. Austin has adopted a zero waste policy and therefore has some great resources on how residents can turn their trash into treasure or to how to recycle it properly, keeping as many resources as possible out of the landfill and in the hands of people who can make best use of it. Maddie, we are so glad you're here to join us today. I'm handing the controls over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill, and to the City of Smithville for inviting us to talk a little bit about zero waste and repair and how you might be able to bring some of these repair opportunities to your own community. I'm so very excited to be here today. All right. As Jill mentioned, my name is Madelyn Morgan. I am a conservation program coordinator with the City of Austin, and I work within Austin Resource Recovery. That might sound like a funky name for a department, but it is the city's solid waste department, but we've rebranded several years ago because we have a goal to reach zero waste by 2040. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about our Fix It Austin program, which is all about repair. So Austin's zero waste goal, you may not be familiar with this, but so just in case, in 2011, this Austin City Council set a goal to reach zero waste by 2040, and you might be asking, what does that mean? They defined it as keeping 90% of everything generated within our city out of the landfill. And in 2015, which was our last measurement, we were at about 42%. We've got a ways to go, but we have done a considerable amount of work in the last 5 years, and there is work being done to get an updated diversion rate. In Austin Resource Recovery, Jill mentioned a little bit about what we do. What's a little bit unique about our city is that our department only provides services to single family homes. So residential services, as we call it. And commercial and multifamily properties are handled separately. They go and get their own hauler from the private market. So we really only have control over direct services to our customer base, which, believe it or not, only accounts, and this is all pre-pandemic data, but only accounts for 15% of the waste generated. So the commercial and multifamily sector is very important in managing to help get to our zero waste goal. But we have to handle that through different means, through things like policies and programs, since we don't directly control their services. But the city does every other week recycling collection, and we have a pay-as-you-throw trash collection, which means that the size of your trash can, the smaller your trash can is, the less you pay on your trash bill, sort of incentivizing customers to find ways to reduce their trash footprint. Our curbside compost program is almost fully rolled out. This year is the last year of the phase-in, so all of our residents will have access to compost, and compost includes not only yard trimmings, since it is an expansion of the yard trimmings program, but things like food waste, even dairy, meat, bones, napkins, paper products, things like that can all go into that compost bin now. And then of course, as most solid waste departments, we are in charge of helping keep our city clean. And we really pride ourselves on keeping a clean city through things like street sweeping, dead animal collection, and bulky collection for residents. Jill also mentioned our recycle and reuse drop-off center. It's currently operating under some restrictions right now and is like by appointment only, but typically residents and of the city and then also of Travis County can bring household hazardous waste here to be recycled, things like paint, chemicals, automotive fluids, those types of batteries. They can bring them there and we find ways to recycle them. We also accept single stream recycling. So your paper, your plastic, your aluminum, cardboard, glass can all be taken here. As well as some materials that aren't accepted in the blue recycling bin. So plastic film and styrofoam are two things that you should keep out of your recycling bin, but you can bring to the center because there are special ways that they can be recycled. And another cool thing is there is a little, again, during normal times, there's a little reuse center. So if you had unfinished cleaning supplies, for example, you could bring them there and put them in a little reuse shop, and someone else could come through and take those and finish using them up. So nothing goes to waste. You might be sitting here wondering, how is zero waste an actually reachable goal? And our answer for you is that yes, it is. We've done studies based on the landfill waste stream. And just through this chart here, you can see if you were to take out what could be composted and recycled out of the waste stream, that you're almost to 90%. So just through those two things alone, recycling and composting, we can almost reach our zero waste goal if everybody received the proper education and had access to the right infrastructure to enable that, which is always a challenge. Of course, we can't get to zero waste through just recycling and composting, especially as manufacturers begin and brands begin developing new types of packaging that don't go through the recycling system well. So we still like to stick to that old adage of reduce, reuse, recycle. And we still need to follow that in order to reach our zero waste goal. There are lots of other things we can do before we get to recycling, and that's really what I want to stress through today's presentation. We can do things like reusing, redesigning how products are made, repurposing what we already have, finding new uses for things, and repairing. So like I said, we can do more than recycling, although we're currently operating in what we call a recycling economy, as you can see from the diagram here. This linear economy is where we are making, taking, and disposing. So everything's going straight to the landfill. The recycling economy is kind of where we are at now, and it's where we are, some of the stuff is being kept in the loop, but some of it is also ending up in the landfill. We're not capturing everything because not everything is designed to be captured and taken in and recycled or reused or disassembled. And so we can't reach our goal without moving towards a circular economy, which is this third figure on the screen. And if you're not familiar with that term, which many of you may not be, a circular economy is an economic system where waste is designed out, or redesigned, as we said on the previous slide, where waste is designed out and products are kept circulating in productive use, reuse, repurpose, at their highest value for as long as possible. And so that's where our actions like repairing and rental and sharing get tied in. And so I'm going to actually switch screens really quickly and show y'all a quick video about circular economy so you have a better idea of what we're talking about. And this video is produced by the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which is a think tank and a leading experts in circular economy around the globe. All right.
Living systems have been around for a few billion years and will be around for many more. In the living world, there's no landfill. Instead, materials flow. One species' waste is another's food. Energy is provided by the sun. Things grow, then die, and nutrients return to the soil safely. And it works. Yet as humans, we've adopted a linear approach. We take, we make, and we dispose. A new phone comes out, so we ditch the old one. Our washing machine packs up, so we buy another. Each time we do this, we're eating into a finite supply of resources and often producing toxic waste. It simply can't work long term. So what can? If we accept that the living world's cyclical model works, can we change our way of thinking so that we too operate a circular economy? Let's start with the biological cycle. How can our waste build capital rather than reduce it? By rethinking and redesigning products and components and the packaging they come in, we can create safe and compostable materials that help grow more stuff. As they say in the movies, no resources have been lost in the making of this material. So what about the washing machines, mobile phones, fridges? We know they don't biodegrade. Here, we're talking about another sort of rethink, a way to cycle valuable metals, polymers, and alloys, so they maintain their quality and continue to be useful beyond the shelf life of individual products. What if the goods of today became the resources of tomorrow? It makes commercial sense. Instead of the throw away and replace culture we've become used to, we'd adopt a return and renew one, where products and components are designed to be disassembled and regenerated. One solution may be to rethink the way we view ownership. What if we never actually owned our technologies? We simply licensed them from the manufacturers. Now, let's put these two cycles together. Imagine if we could design products to come back to their makers, their technical materials being reused and their biological parts increasing agricultural value. And imagine that these products are made and transported using renewable energy. Here we have a model that builds prosperity long term. And the good news is, there are already companies out there who are beginning to adopt this way of working. Now, the circular economy isn't about one manufacturer changing one product. It's about all the interconnecting companies that form our infrastructure and economy coming together. It's about energy. It's about rethinking the operating system itself. We have a fantastic opportunity to open new perspectives and new horizons. Instead of remaining trapped in the frustrations of the present, with creativity and innovation, we really can rethink and redesign our future.
I love that video. It's just so simple and helps really understand what it means, what it would mean to be in a circular economy. And switch back to the slides. So one of the reasons we're focusing on repair as part of the circular economy is because it's something you can do to be part of the circular economy. The video talked a lot about how the burden kind of falls on the manufacturing end and how things are designed, which is very true. But There are lots of things as consumers that we can do. And one of those things is trying to repair things when they break or get a hole in them, or for whatever reason, we can't figure out how to make them work. And so that's what we're talking about today. And before I dive into what our programs here at the city look like for repair, and hopefully how you might be able to bring these to Smithville, I'm going to talk about the impacts on the local economy when it comes to repair. So repair can create jobs and help money stay within the community. So by taking things to your local repair shop to get them fixed, that money is staying within your local economy and creating demand for these types of jobs, that you want to own things that can be fixed rather than buying something that was so cheap that you just throw it out and replace it. And so while repair is great for the planet and helps conserve resources, it really, at the end of the day, comes down to people, and it helps the people as well. And repairing an item instead of replacing it with something new also helps conserve resources. So by keeping those parts of your items in use for longer, you have to think about all of the energy and carbon and human labor that went into making your, say, sweater or your blender, right? And it got transported from probably across the world to your house. And when you decide to get rid of it because one of the functions doesn't work anymore, you are basically taking all of the energy inputs of that item and throwing it away with it. And then on top of that, you're adding, if you're going and buying a new blender to replace it, you're adding all of the energy inputs into that item, that new item that you're acquiring. So repair on a large scale does have an impact on the climate and on our planet. So since 2016, the City of Austin has been hosting Fix-It clinics. And this is a quick snapshot of our one and only, probably in-person Fix-It clinic that we had this year in January. And these Fix-It clinics are held quarterly. They're 3-hour events where the city recruits expert fixers, as we call them, which are just volunteers from our community who are savvy in areas like engineering, furniture, jewelry making, sewing, and just miscellaneous are just handy and enjoy fixing things. And so they come and volunteer their time at these clinics, and we have an online portal where residents can sign up to bring their items in different time slots. And we pair those residents up with at different station depending on what type of item they bring in. And they just go to work. The goal is for the resident and the coach to work together to figure out, how does this thing work? Try to disassemble it and try to figure out if they can figure out how to make it start working again. We're not always successful in walking out with workable items, but if they were broken coming in, we at least tried, and the resident learned that, you know, maybe this thing wasn't made so well as they begin to disassemble it, or figure out that it wasn't actually made to disassemble because the manufacturer doesn't want you to take it apart. They want you to throw it away and buy something new. And so that always turns on a lot of light bulbs in folks' heads. The city handles the logistics of these Fix-It clinics. It is a partnership between Austin Resource Recovery and the Austin Public Library. And we typically hold the clinics at libraries, which are great, you know, meet the community where they are. We have plans to try and do one at a rec center this year for the first time, but due to COVID, we were unable to see if that reached a new audience. And then another important piece too is that we have a set of tools and resources that we bring to these clinics, so that these coaches have, while many of them do bring their own supplies, we have supplies that we're providing them, especially since we're asking of their time. Things like solderers, sewing machines, threads, and other, you know, needles, consumables, huge toolkits, flashlights, extension cords, pretty much anything you could think of to fix about pretty much anything you could bring into this room. And we see all types of items come through. I named our main categories of types of items, but we see things like bikes. Think in the upper right-hand corner, we've got a humidifier. We see vacuums all the time. A lot of times on the vacuums, it's just a lot of dust has accumulated on the inside. And once you unscrew everything and clean all the parts, it starts working again. We see lamps, small appliances like blenders and toasters. A lot of times, I would say a common theme that our coaches see is that things have started to rust inside metal parts, and just taking a emery board or something that you can sand down the rust off of the metal part. Sometimes that proves a working solution. Backpacks, clothing, pretty much anything you can think of we see come through here. So to date, in the last 4 years, or I guess the last 3 years, since we're able to have one event this year, we've had 24 events, over almost 600 attendees, over 2,000 pounds of items that we've kept out of the landfill. And then we have a very high satisfaction rate of folks coming in and being pleased when they walk out. So while we talk about repair as an element of circular economy and zero waste, my favorite piece of these Fix-It clinics, especially, is the community aspect. And I think more than ever, as we, when we come out of this pandemic, this will be more crucial than ever, is these elements of where we can find places to build community. We see residents and coaches of all walks of life, gender, race, age, from kids to, grandparents. We see everyone come in, and to see them working together and learning something new is such a rewarding feeling. And the opportunity for interaction in these situations and to receive social opportunity to socialize in this way just isn't something that seems very common these days. And so we love that the Fix-It clinics can help bring that to our community. You have folks coming in and learning, and we find that it's not just the residents that come in that learn, it's also the coaches. So one of the things I love is that, there's often not a manual on how to fix these appliances or electronics, because manufacturer doesn't put those types of things out a lot of times. But the coaches will work together to figure out to try and troubleshoot and try and figure out with the resident, like, what is causing this thing not to work, even though, it's plugged in. And so for both the residents and the coaches, they're learning, engineering skills. They're learning how to take something apart. They're learning what it means to have a high quality item, and how planned obsolescence is a real thing and goes into making items the way our society operates today. And then another one of my favorite things is seeing the excitement on people's faces when they flip the switch on and all of a sudden it starts to work. Something that might have been sitting in their garage for years, they were meaning to get around to it, it's collecting dust, now works. Or we often see a lot of treasured items like, family heirlooms or antiques come in, and people really want to try to restore them and get them back to life so they can continue to love and use those items. Another important piece about Fix-It clinics that goes along with the importance of community is having partners. As I mentioned, the Austin Public Library has been an instrumental partner for our Fix-It clinics here in Austin, helping use, with marketing, but also helping use the space. That space is already there in communities, and so we can go to communities, and that makes things easy. We have recently also trying to start working with businesses and nonprofits that have storefronts as a way. We call this our Fix-It partner program, where we basically provide the how-to guide and like a zip file of documents on this is how we run Fix-It clinics, from recruiting your volunteers to collecting your data as folks leave the event. And we provide all that and would help market these events. And so we've had folks from businesses like Patagonia and Texas Farmers Market, among others, test these Fix-It clinics, and they come and they borrow our tool set, and then they go to, again, it's all about bringing this to where people are, like meet people where they are with this, and people will be interested. And our hope is that one day, you know, we have businesses and organizations across the city running their own Fix-It clinics, so that there are repair opportunities, not just repair, but community building opportunities all across the city, not just 3 or 4 times a year. And this last icon is supposed to represent faith-based organizations. We haven't had one of those as a partner yet, but again, they typically have their own resource network they can tap into of volunteers, and really bringing to light that these volunteers can serve the community in a valuable way. So at the end of this slideshow, I do have actually I think it's on a slide, a link to, this is our detailed how-to guide. We also have our sort of thumb drive of files if anyone is interested in hosting their own clinic. Of course, once the pandemic passes, we are more than happy to provide you with that information. But it's pretty simple. I mean, you pick your location and date, you find your volunteers, promote the event, get your attendees registered, and have fun, right? Like that's the beauty of it, is that it's a learning, it's a discovery process, and an educational process as well. And so since the pandemic, we have not been able to do our in-person clinics. We started a virtual series, and we ran it late summer. We held about 20 classes where we actually offered compensation to instructors to provide virtual instruction on things like sewing machine, or how to use a sewing machine, how to sew by hand, bike repair and maintenance, electric guitar maintenance, just topical repair and maintenance tips and tricks. And the awesome part was that residents were able to log on and ask questions and engage with the instructor during that course. And we are in the process of uploading those video recordings into a library so that anyone can access that content at any time. So we're really excited about that, and hope to bring more of these virtual Fix-It at Home series in the near future, and as the year progresses. So be on the lookout for our playlist coming soon. And you can find all about when that playlist is live. You can find it at austintexas.gov/fixit, as well as some of our other resources and just learning more about the program. As I mentioned, the how to host a Fix-It clinic guide. There's also this report a broken item, and actually the last bullet points 3 through 6 are organizations outside of the city, but that are all working towards a common cause, and that cause is to make things easy to repair, because there's this there's an argument out there, and we're seeing it happen across in Europe more and more, but this right to repair movement, where the argument is that we as consumers, when we buy something, like we now own it, we should have the right to repair it because it is ours. And we see a lot of the counter of that happening by manufacturers making things hard to disassemble, not putting out repair guides, and just generally making it hard to make things work, so that you only have one other solution. So that report a broken item guide, you can go in there. They're collecting information about manufacturers and type specific models. seeing if, basically to see trends for planned obsolescence so that they can take that data and go and present it to the manufacturer and say, look, you really need to fix this coffee maker because we have a lot of people reporting that it breaks, you know, this certain thing breaks. And then Open Repair Alliance, iFixit, and Restart Project all have awesome resources and guides on specific types of like electronics and appliances and even clothing. Patagonia and iFixit have done a collaboration on how to fix like Patagonia clothing, like replacing zippers and stuff. So there are a lot of resources out there. Just kind of have to know where to start looking if you want to, you know, have something at home that you want to give a hand at repairing as well. So I think that's all I've got for y'all today. If you want to reach out and learn more about our program, we would be happy to talk to you. Our email address is there at the bottom, circulareconomy@austintexas.gov. And Jill and City of Smithville, we are very grateful for this opportunity, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Maddie. Appreciate it. I'm a little slow on the technology, but thank you so much. We really do appreciate you being here. We're so grateful that you were able to make it today. It was a great presentation. We really love that. Normally for the expo, we would have the bike repair and maintenance workshop. Obviously, due to COVID, that's not exactly a thing that we can offer this year, but to know that you have those resources up and or will have them up on your site, that's a great thing to know about and to have that in that video library. So the Eco Photo Fest website will also include the links that you have, and we've also got some of our local resources that'll be included as well. And you know, that just to talk about the circular economy, it's so important. It's great to see so many people working so hard on making that a reality. Really appreciate the focus on the community and working together to learn how to fix things. That's such a great way to build community connections and relationships and the skills that you need as well. If any of our viewers are interested in looking into a zero waste initiative in Smithville, please don't hesitate to contact me. It would be a great thing for us to start doing around here. Thanks again for watching this Eco Photo Fest presentation. Thanks to all of our sponsors and to April Daniels for all of her amazing magical technical support for all this stuff that we're doing. And don't forget, we also have a photo contest going on through the program as well. All that information will be available on the links connected with this video and on that website. Please join us for the live interactive Zoom sessions this week at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, that's October 13, and also at 6 p.m. on Thursday, the 15th. That's when you can see Maddie is at the Thursday session, along with other panelists that have been talking about eco programs and photography. The registration link is available at this video and this website, and also on the Eco Photo Fest website. Please also mark your calendars for Wednesday, October 14th at 3 p.m. for the Outdoor Tourism Roundtable. We hope to see you there. Thank you all very much.